Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot, and this week I'll be sharing a spread from the lovely Emerald Lotus Divination over on Instagram, and I do believe she has got a YouTube channel here, which I only discovered quite recently. And this one is called The Repeating Lesson. I'll be using the Marielle Tarot for this particular one. Oops, I should show the backs. Of course, when I read with the Marielle, it is intuitive, so I don't pay attention to what's in the book, as with most of my, well, all of my decks, but I'm not going to lie. So, because I have had people ask me about reading this deck intuitively, so I'll give it a go with this particular, or not really give it a go, I'll show you how I use it. And I thought the repeating lesson was kind of good because we're kind of at a standstill in our life. You know, a lot of us still have to self-isolate. We're pretty lucky in Western Australia. I think everything's been open now. We don't have to worry about anything. But also just, you know, what's repeating in our life right now. So the first actual question is lesson that keeps repeating in my life. So let's give it a shuffle. Lesson that keeps repeating in my life. That's a whole heap of them. I hope that doesn't mean that I've got a whole heap of lessons that keep repeating in my life. So lesson that keeps repeating in my life. There we go. That one popped up. Oh, that's an interesting card. I got the Sun. Lesson that keeps repeating in my life. The Sun. So I'm going to turn around and have a look at that. So what I'm attracted to there, right behind the actual face, there are two eagle heads. So there's two eagles. One at the top and one underneath. So you can see the two beaks, and then the actual figure itself seems to be speaking. And you know what I think that actually means for me is think before I speak. I do get very fired up and passionate about things, and then I probably say things. I say things that I don't mean, or I do mean them, but I don't say them diplomatically. So this is telling me not to get so fired up that I speak crap. That I should think before I speak. And also, what else? I keep getting birds. I have so many messages. I keep saying it, that birds are messages from spirit. And I think that because the beaks are closed, that, and it's sort of encased, you know, encased in a ring, that as I've said before in other previous videos, that I haven't felt called to do spirit messages yet. They haven't been calling to me, literally, and the beaks are shut. It's because of what's been happening in the world. There's too much going on, and so they've just stayed silent. But once they do, there's going to be a lot of communication that's coming out, because that's so orange there as well. So I have to think before I speak, not get too fired up about things, but also spiritually, things are quiet at the moment, and I think this is to protect me and also protect anyone around me who needs the messages. They're not ready to hear them yet, so that's why it's been quiet, and I haven't felt called to do any. And you know, there's like a wing that's stretching out there as well. I do feel like that one particular message is going to come to me because it's stretched right out. It's quite a big wing. It reminds me of an angel wing. And I think that, and there's one at the bottom there, I just noticed as well. So I think that, yeah, that there will be a message for me and me alone that's going to be coming to me. So that's the lesson. And perhaps, because this is a repeating lesson, perhaps I've had this message before in past lives, but I haven't acted upon it. Or even in the past, I've had this message, you know, years ago, and I haven't acted upon it as well. So that's my lesson that keeps repeating in my life. So it looks like I need to be careful. Think before I speak, you know, don't get fired up on things. So now the second question is why the same lesson keeps repeating. That one popped right up. Oh, and that's, excuse me, justice. And because when I do speak up, it's because of a sense of justice, a sense of righteousness. That who I speak up for, I feel like they can't speak up for themselves, and I must do it. But I have to think about it. I have to, because the hands are crossed over the heart, I have to speak from my heart and not from my fiery mind. I have to think before I speak. If I want to bring justice out to to whoever it is that I'm speaking up for, I need to do it from the heart and not just, not just from my mind. Because if you have a look at the, the head is all fiery. That the actual headpiece is quite orange, isn't it? Excuse me. So that's what that's telling. Why it keeps repeating is because it looks like in the past, in my life, but I'm thinking it's a past life. It looks very Egyptian. So maybe when I was a kid, I was always fascinated by Egypt. It still fascinates me, and I would love to go there and actually pray at one of the temples there. But I don't think that's going to happen somehow. But maybe I was like that. Maybe I did have a past life in Egypt, and that's what I used to do. I used to stand up for people and speak my mind and stand up for them. And it got me in trouble. It got me in trouble. And so why it keeps repeating is because it's something that I've done for many, many lifetimes. That's what I'm feeling. I like to stand up for people. I like people to feel good about themselves, but I have to be wary of my fiery temper and not let my emotions burst on. I've literally got to keep a cap on it, keep a cap down, damp down my feelings and speak from my heart. And if I don't do that, well, then it's going to keep repeating, isn't it, the lesson? Let's have now. The third card is something about the lesson I need to face. Okay, so there's nudity in this deck, all right? So something about this lesson I need to face. And I've got the King of Discs. It looks like Pan, doesn't it? So something about the lesson, that I need to face. I'm really attracted to the apple and the tongue sticking out. He's about to bite. And I'm thinking, what it sort of says to me is that you can't have your cake and eat it. That you have to accept that when you say something, perhaps out of anger, it can come back and bite you, and that you need to really, because he's very laid back and very earthy. I need to ground, and that's why I need to ground more. Okay, before I spread out my branches and say what I'm actually feeling, I need to ground more and think about it. Because it can have far-reaching consequences, what I say can spread right out. It can spread, it can spread anywhere. So, especially, with social media platforms as well. What you say, it has far-reaching consequences of what we don't know. Really, there's no way to know how doing just this reading, how it might affect somebody else as well. Could be something, So, yeah, that's why I have to face, because what I say can have far-reaching consequences. So how can I face this lesson with an open heart, mind and soul? How can I face this lesson with an open heart, mind and soul? Oh, beautiful. 3 of Cups. Isn't that a gorgeous, gorgeous image? I really love this deck. It took me a long time to buy this deck. I think this is the 2nd edition, I think. I'm pretty sure it is. So, how can I face this lesson with an open heart, mind and soul? Because I'm really attracted to the 3 waterfalls, and I absolutely love waterfalls. I really do. I love nature. I'm a big nature lover. So, if we are thinking, I need to keep, because this one reminds me of, we've got the grounding, and then we've got a water card here. So I need to keep these 2 in balance. I need to keep my emotions and my grounding in balance. So for me to face it with an open heart, mind and soul is really to keep my emotions in balance. And, having suffered from depression as well, that makes sense as well, because it used to be really hard for me to keep my emotions in balance. I used to feel pretty much like that dead tree branch all most of my life, I don't feel like that anymore. And I suppose that's what it's saying, is to fill up with love, literally, is to fill myself up with love and light, because I haven't been feeling it because of things that have been happening in the world. I feel very negative lately, very, very much like the tree, very closed off, negative, not wanting to go out, not wanting to do anything. So I have to, because it's about me thinking before I speak and things like that. I think I need to, it's just saying for me, literally, is to speak from the heart and to speak from love and to keep my emotions even, you know, because these are quite almost very similar, aren't they? Very straight, very free flowing. And that's how I've got to become. I've got to become more free flowing, more actually even more open, just going out and enjoying myself as well, because I tend to not do that. So I tend to like to stay at home because I'm at my happiest at home. But this is telling me that, yeah, I need to sort of branch out. I need to have a look at the other grass on the other side. It might not be greener, but I need to venture out and have a little look around every now and again. So, yeah, that's what I've got to do. I've just got to keep more open-minded, because it's a very, very open sort of a picture, isn't it? So I need to keep open-minded as well. And then the final card is, how can I release myself from cycling and repeating this lesson? Perfect card, isn't it? The King of Wands. I've got to keep this fiery temper of mine under control. Simple as that, you know. Simple as that. Now, I'm really attracted to the yellow eyes, and you know, you've got that saying, green-eyed monster of jealous. I'm not jealous. I can't think I'm jealous of anybody really, but it's very interesting to see that come up, isn't it? Yeah, it's just simple. I've just got to keep my emotions under control, keep that fiery temper that I've got under control, that sarcasticness that I can have, because I can be really, really sarcastic sometimes, you know. I've got to keep that under control. So there you go. The repeating lesson. That was a really good spread, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Please let me know in the comments below if you try out this spread. And I shall see you in the next video. Please press like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Take care, everyone.